get going. We're 2 minutes into this, but again, I'm waiting for, hello, Dreams. That's a nice name. Hello, Sandesh. I'm doing fine. Thank you, Sidhant. How are you? So I'm going to, now today's session is going to be about things that you should do. My last session was about things you should not do. Now here's some things that you should do. And we're going to get started in about a minute or so. Get some more people here to join us. And then if you have questions, please ask them. I will save about 5 minutes at the end of the presentation to answer questions. But feel free to ask questions as you go. Today we're going to talk about things you should do for IELTS speaking. Okay. So hello, M. Segal. Nice to see you. All right. So we'll give it about another minute before we start. So my name is Martin. I'm an IELTS instructor. I also teach TOEFL, spoken English, and interview preparation. I have been doing this for over 8 years, and I've literally helped hundreds of students achieve their goals. I also have experience writing IELTS tests. So I've done that for 8 years as well. So I'm very knowledgeable about IELTS, especially the ins and outs of pretty much all the modules. So, and so I'm here each week, every Wednesday at 5 o'clock. Be sure to join us, 5 o'clock every Wednesday. I'm also on Instagram, My IELTS Tutor. So follow us on Instagram. I do daily live reels, interactive sessions, Monday through Friday. So join me for those as well. And make sure that you follow us here at YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook as well. And if you want more information about My IELTS Tutor, which is an online platform and the best platform, in my opinion, for delivering IELTS, and the reason, and I'll get into why I think it's the best. Not just because I'm the instructor, one of the instructors, and that we have a great team, but I'll explain why at the end, at the very end. Okay, so hello Akash, nice to see you. So, all right, so let's get started. Now, again, I'm going to talk about things you should do for the IELTS speaking portion of the test. You may be wondering what those are. And some of these might be very obvious, but some might not be. So let's take a close look. Now, what we have is 10 things that you should do. First of all, warm up just prior to the test. And I'll talk about that. Then practice at home. And that's something for some of my students, I have to dog them to practice. It's really important that you practice at home. Hello, Chatrapati. I hope I spelled that, I guess Joshua and Daniel. So hello, you guys. Welcome. So let's get back to this. So warm up, practice. Another thing you can do is ask the examiner. Then extend your answers. This is a problem that a lot of students have, especially with, say, follow-up questions, and we'll talk about that. Then master functional language, and you're probably wondering what I mean by that, and I'll explain that. Excuse me. Then you want to use natural spoken English. Then balance grammar with fluency. Then be passionate when you speak. Hello, Rahul. And then finally take time to think. Take the time to think, and then don't be afraid to correct yourself if you make a mistake. So let's take a look at these individually. All right, so now warming up. Warming up is basically the same idea as what athletes do before a game. Like you take your cricketers. I know cricket's very big here in India. So what cricketers do is they warm up. They exercise. They run around the field. They stretch to get warmed up before the game. That's what you can do before the test, on the day of the test. So what you can do is warm up. And why do you want to do that? First of all, it helps increase your ability to speak naturally. It increases your confidence with speaking as well. And then you will be in the flow of speaking English, meaning that your mindset will be more focused on thinking and speaking in English. So that's what you want to do. So for tips to help you with this, I said hello to you, Rahul, sorry, but hello again. For tips on warming up, speak, read, listen, and write in English. This means immerse yourself in English 24 hours prior to this test. And really, you should immerse yourself as much as you can in English every day prior to the test. So let's say you decide to take the test a month from now, you should immerse yourself in as much English as you can. But do make a concerted effort prior to the test, the day before. And then when you arrive at the test center, you can speak to other test takers, and that can, first of all, may help relieve some tension. You can maybe practice a little bit with each other. And again, this will get you more focused with speaking English, and it'll help you be in the flow of speaking and thinking in English. So that's warming up. Now, practicing at home. I have to tell you, this is the most important thing that you can do for the speaking test. And sometimes I have to literally dog my students because I can tell that they're not practicing. And so this is important. And so you have to set aside time for practice. And I talked about this in one of my previous live sessions titled Tips for Speaking. I tell you exactly how to practice, and I really recommend that you guys go back and watch that. It's here on YouTube. It's titled Tips for Practicing Speaking at Home. Okay, or something like that. And I tell you exactly how you should practice. And if you practice in that way every day, you're bound to get really high scores. Or if you're weak, let's say you may start off being a 5.5, you practice that way, you can get up to 7 bands, 7+. If you're good in English, you can go 8+, 8 to 9 bands speaking, okay? So I really encourage you guys to watch that video. Again, tips for practicing speaking here on YouTube. It's up there on the My IELTS Tutor page, and so watch that video. It will, so now practicing at home. Of course, why? You will improve. If you don't practice, you're not going to improve. And you will score higher than if you don't. That's pretty much obvious, and I think you guys are smart enough to get that. In fact, all my students, that's you guys are my students, are very intelligent, so you guys get this. Now the tip here is really to create a schedule for daily practice. And you should practice maybe about an hour each day. And it should include time for general speaking practice. And this is something you can do throughout the day for general speaking practice, and then maybe 1 hour for IELTS speaking practice. So, but practice every day. That's the key. That's the key. Good evening, Mr. Philosopher. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining us. All right, so now let's move on. Now, asking the examiner. Now, at first, I wasn't sure when I stumbled on this tip. I wasn't sure whether you should ask the examiner, but it's okay. It's okay to occasionally ask the examiner if you don't understand a question or word. You don't want to you don't want to do this for every single question, but 1, 2, maybe 3 times, this might be okay. First of all, native speakers do often ask for clarification, and that's natural. Okay? So if I were talking to a native speaker and the person I was talking to said something I didn't quite understand, I may ask them to rephrase it or ask them to clarify. And that's okay. That's perfectly natural, but you don't want to do it for every single question. And then this makes the speaking exam more like a conversation, and that's what the IELTS speaking is supposed to emulate a conversation rather than a straight out interview. And so the IELTS speaking is supposed to, like I said, emulate a conversation so it's more natural in speaking. And that's what they're trying to do. And they're looking for natural speech. So asking for clarification every once in a while, maybe 2 or 3 times, is okay. Now, of course, you don't want to do this repeatedly, because the reason if you do this repeatedly, it shows that you don't have a good grasp, a good understanding of English. But occasional questions for clarifications are okay. Okay, I don't want you thinking that that you shouldn't ask the examiner to restate something or clarify something because you can't. Just don't overdo it. That's the thing. Now, mastering functional language. What do I mean by that? Well, functional language means the ability to speak about the past, present, and future and various forms of expression. So we're talking about giving opinions, examples, contrasting views, evaluating another person's opinion, talking about cause and effect in other types of relationships, and then hypothetical situations. So these could be things that, these type of expressions come up frequently in the cue card and in the follow-up questions. The general questions not so much, because those are more about you. But you may still have to give an opinion for a general question. But for the cue card, you want to be able to speak about these type of things. So when you're asked to give an opinion, you give your opinion. If you need to give examples, and that's good, that's really good for the follow-up questions, and then maybe talking about different viewpoints. That's good. Another one that you could maybe put in a follow-up question. Same thing, also evaluating another person's viewpoint. So that's something as well that could be talked about in the follow-up question. Relationships, again, follow-up. Hypothetical situations. You might get a cue card that doesn't apply to you, so you may have to make up a story. So that's a hypothetical situation. Or you may have a cue card that's based on a hypothetical situation, or a follow-up question as well. So what you want to do is to learn the various grammatical forms and word formations to express these forms. So how to express an example, or how to express an opposing viewpoint, those type of things. And you can find information on this online from various websites, and don't be afraid to look these up. Okay. Siddharth, I have no idea about that university, and I'm not really here talking about I'm really not here to talk about universities. English by Simmer. Okay, I'll try to answer that one at the end. Now, let's move on. Let's talk about natural language. Okay, so natural language. So why do you want to speak natural language, and what is natural language? Means basically that your speech sounds natural. Okay. So, and this is in terms of pronunciation, intonation, stress. So natural speech is expected by the examiner. Okay, natural speech is expected by the examiner. As I said, pronunciation, pacing, intonation, and connected speech, how you link your ideas together, are considered. And so this is often difficult for new speakers. So again, this is where practice, working on certain aspects of your vocabulary, and such as collocations. And that's going to be the subject for my next session, collocations. So stay tuned for that. Those are areas to work on. So some of the things that you can do is listen and watch native speakers. Come here to YouTube and watch videos of people speaking and imitate the way they speak. Okay? Imitate native speakers. Another thing you can do is download karaoke apps on your phone. Play Western, I know it says Western music, but play Western music and then sing the songs. This will help with picking up the intonations and getting the rhythm of English. Okay? All right, so next, you want to balance grammar and fluency. So what do I mean by that? Balance grammar and fluency. Well, those are two areas that are considered for criteria for scoring. Okay, so and why they're important. Sometimes people overemphasize grammar, and this could affect fluency. Okay, meaning the ability to speak at length. So they're trying to make their grammar perfect, but it affects their fluency, so they can't speak fluently. The expectation is to be good at both. So tips, you want to drill yourself with general questions and focus on fluency, and then move to follow-ups and cue cards. Okay. Then you want to do the above, but focus on grammar. Okay. So so you want to do a second time, rather than focus on fluency, focus on grammar so that you can get grammatically correct. Okay? Then you want to record yourself. As you do this, record yourself and note the mistakes that you make to work them correctly. So sorry about this. There's a little bit of disturbance here. Okay. Now, you want to be passionate. And why do you want to be passionate? You want to be passionate. Can you excuse me one moment, please? I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. There's some outside noise that was coming through. So, okay, being passionate. Why do you want to be passionate? First of all, your intonation is important. So, speaking as if you have interest in the subject can help, okay? So, as I'm speaking here with you guys, I'm trying to be passionate. And if you can note how I'm stressing words in a certain way. And you should have, and this is what I call animated speech, okay? And you should be animated in your speech. So you should speak with some emotion. And so that's part of natural speech. So what you can do is talk about things that you are interested in and record yourself. Then smile as you speak. This helps with intonation. Then finally, again, watch native speakers and imitate the way they speak. Okay, so now next, take time to think. Now, why you want to do this? You may be uncertain about the question. So taking time can help gather your thoughts, and it's perfectly natural to do this even by native speakers. One moment, please. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, for tips on this, you want to let the examiner know you need this time, okay? And it's okay to say any of these phrases. You can start with these type of phrases. That's a difficult question. I need a moment to think. But don't take a full moment to speak. Try to speak and think at the same time. Use these few seconds to kind of gather your thoughts. You also have 5 seconds at the beginning before you're expected to speak, so you can use that time accordingly. So that's what I recommend regarding taking time to think. Then you want to correct yourself, and don't be afraid to correct yourself. Okay, so, and the reason why you want to correct yourself is it shows the examiner you're aware of mistakes. One moment, please. Okay, sorry, there's a lot going on so I apologize. Let's continue. Now, correcting yourself. It shows the examiner that you're aware of the mistakes you're making. And then it shows that you're reasonably good with your grammar as well. So what you can do is, if you can, quickly correct yourself without pausing and then move on with your talk. If you do make a mistake, try not to stress over it. Either correct it quickly or just move on. So that's what I suggest. And it's okay to have some mistakes. They don't expect you to be perfect. If you have some mistakes, as long as it doesn't confuse or change what you intend to say. Meaning, if it doesn't change the meaning of what you're trying to say, it's okay. But you don't want to have too many of those, just a few. Okay, so now relying on examiner's cues. Now, what I mean by this is that you wait for the examiner to tell you when to speak or when to stop, okay? You know, the examiner won't tell you whether you're speaking too much or too little. I know it says here he or she will, but actually they're not going to tell you whether you're speaking too much, too little, or too softly. But the examiner will control the time for the cue card. And the examiner will stop you, but you won't know when the examiner will stop you. And again, like I said, that's at his or her discretion. So what you want to do is take control of your speaking. One thing you can do, especially practicing with the cue card, is use a clock, use a stopwatch, or have someone time you. And then know when to stop for general questions, cue cards, and the follow-ups. And so that's what you want to do. Then stick to the topic of the question. Don't go off topic, and pay attention and focus. So those are the things you want to do rather than rely on the examiner's cues. So to review, you want to warm up just prior to the test, practice at home, ask the examiner, extend your answers, master functional language, use natural spoken English, balance grammar with fluency, be passionate when you speak, take time to think, correct yourself, and then what I just said from the last card. So that's what you want to do. Okay, now, any questions? Thank you guys for joining me. And again, I apologize for some of the disruptions. Let's see, we have some questions here. In speaking, how to use idioms? That's from Ujval. Ujval, that's a good question, and I think I will talk about that in a future live session. So that great, thank you for that idea. But I will quickly say this about using idioms. You should use idioms that you know 100% about. If you're not sure of how to use a particular idiom, don't use it. Okay? Use the ones that you know and are confident in using. Again, Siddharth, I have no idea about the University of Alberta. The only thing I can suggest to you is to research it online. Okay? Simar Chavla, which video do you suggest to watch for speaking? All my videos here at YouTube on my IELTS Tutor channel. Also watch my Instagram reels on Instagram as well. You can watch. Then there's other good videos I'm sure you can find online, but I do speaking here every Wednesday at 5 o'clock. Join me. Watch my other videos. The one video I really recommend everyone watch is the one titled Tips for Practice Speaking. So, any other questions? Okay, so no other questions. Let's move on. Now I want to thank you guys for joining me. Okay, so it's really great to have you. And so I want to talk about my IELTS Tutor. And we have some premium training going on. And so I want to talk to you about that. And so what we offer in our premium training are these items. We offer detailed writing analysis and feedback, live reading discussions, one-to-one speaking, ebooks, PDFs, grammar ebooks, Band 9 essay bank. That means you get to look at essays that are scored for 9 bands, and you can use those to kind of study and help you write your own essays. Proven tip and strategy live sessions for all the modules. Vocabulary building tools. Free access to daily idea generation live class for both speaking and writing. Detailed one-to-one speaking and analysis. So that comes with one-to-one speaking. Live listening sessions. Understanding the marking criteria. So we talk about that so you understand where you're scoring at and why. We offer complete mock tests with detailed analysis and in-class discussions. Then individual practice tests on reading and listening. 8-band reading strategy for improving accuracy. And then for each and every student, a customized study plan that is based on your strengths and your weaknesses. And we will work with you to improve those areas where you're weak in and support the ones that you're strong in. So that's what we offer in our premium live training. Now, about us, these are the principal teachers here, myself, Nana Chabra, and Ms. Amita. We also have new tutors as well, and we're growing. We have a lot of students, and so we do offer small group sessions online. You won't have a big size classroom, so it will be small group sessions, and you'll be able to get more individualized session, unlike a brick institute, physical institute where you go in and you're in a class of say 30 or so students. You don't get that much attention. You get more individualized session attention from us. Okay, so these are some of our recent results from students. 8 bands, 7.5. And we always shoot for you scoring as high as you can. We shoot for a minimum of 8 bands plus for all of our students. And so this means, and we're committed to that. And so this means that your bands are our responsibility. That's right. Your bands are our responsibility, and we're going to do everything we can to help you achieve your goals with IELTS. So that's it for today. Again, I want to thank you guys for joining me. I do apologize for the disruptions, and thank you for being patient. I do appreciate it. You guys are great. It's always fun to be with you guys. And so if you want more information on my IELTS tutor and IELTS, be sure to click on the link below. One of our representatives will get back with you as quickly as possible. Do follow us here at YouTube. Watch my videos. Follow us on Instagram. Watch my videos. And follow us on Facebook. And I'll see you guys next time. You guys take care. Bye.